What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Payne. Welcome back to another video. Alright guys, it's been a month since the game has been out, or close to it, like a day off, and you know what? I figured I want to talk about all the positives and negatives this game has to offer. And at the same time, while I'm doing it, you guys can watch me finish the Shadowloo City and the bosses that I'm doing it. So, the reason why I want to make this video is a lot of people have been interested in this game. Specifically, like, what's it all about? How do I approach it? What's the best free-to-play options? How predatory is it, etc. So I want to cover a lot of the items that people have questions about, especially for someone who's been playing this pretty extensively and made a lot of videos about it. What are my thoughts on it, and if you should, as a new player, join it, play it, and what you should expect. So let's talk about the pros and cons. Okay, I want to start off with the pros. I will say this: as a brand new player, you have a plethora of things to do in this game. Like, there are so many events happening all the time. There's so much content happening all the time. And for an idle game, it actually does provide you quite a bit for a game that's been out for a month. Now, keep in mind, there are other versions of this game, but I don't compare the versions because they are vastly different in terms of how the way they handle their characters or how they handle the way the game plays. So, for a player who loves Street Fighter and someone who's okay with an idle game and is looking for just to pass the time, you don't get that right away. You actually have to put quite a bit of time into this game in order to kind of get to the point where you're at a wall, right? Which is either a paywall or you just need to do idle in order to get more resources. So in the beginning, I'd say the first couple days, you're going to be playing this pretty extensively to try to get where you're at, understanding compositions, unless you're watching our videos, obviously. Then we'll just walk you through it, understanding events, how guilds work, how all the stuff. Oh, great! I hate that error. And these are the kind of things that you're gonna have to notice about the game. That this is a team building game, right? First and foremost, so you are going to be required to collect units, and these units are going to complement or not complement your team. Oh, there's an error that I'm getting in this. Then I'm gonna back out. So I highly recommend it for new players if you're looking for something to do for the first little while. Now, when you hit that paywall, unfortunately, there is going to be a lot of issues because you're going to have to idle for quite some time, and those paywalls happen pretty quickly, right? You're going to hit the stage paywall, then you're going to hit the Supreme Challenge paywall where you're going to be stuck at a tower, then you're going to be stuck with guild bosses, etc. And then you have global operation, which will keep you busy for some time, and then you'll unlock Inverse World and you'll get stuck there, which we'll do a whole video on, by the way. So the positivities is there's a lot to do in the beginning, but once you hit the idle paywall, there really isn't much to do. So that's kind of where, but that's very typical of idle games, right? So for the first 30 days or 31 days, I would say, the game does have quite a bit of content to offer. Like, for example, they introduced Wonderland, which is a couple of, like, puzzles, clearing things with a couple of enemies here and there. So there again, there's like the events that are going on. The effigy class just came out, so constantly coming out with events and content is a great thing to have for your audience, right? Now let's go to counteract that with the negatives, right? Some of these events are extremely pay to win. So, for example, MH10 came out, which is Monster Hunter Collaboration came out, and it was a blast to do, but it sucked for a lot of free-to-play players. So unless you're willing to spend a lot of money, you weren't really getting the best bang for your buck. Now, the actual dragon fight itself was global, so the whales were carrying everybody, but as a free-to-play player, you weren't really getting the full experience, right? You had Ken as a unit that was almost fully maxed out for you for 3 days, but then you lost him for the rest of the duration, which I covered in a whole other video altogether. So that was a crapshoot. Now, for another example, like the effigy class, which just came out, which is a guild-related event, there's still a bug right now where people can't recruit globally, like they're from across servers. That's a huge issue. And that brings me to my next point. So some of the events are a little too pay to win, but nonetheless, you can still participate and still do enough to keep yourself busy. And that brings me to the next point: is the bugs. There's a lot of, so this is a negativity, obviously, right? Negative thing. There are a lot of bugs in this game that have not been addressed or even identified by the devs. Like, there's no communication, which is a whole other story altogether of what's happening. There's no identifying of patches on these bugs. Sometimes they shadow patch and we don't even know it. There's mistranslation. So there's a lot of negativity around the way the change activities work in any IT industry. When you make a change or you make a patch, you need to roll it out and you let your customers know what the changes are ahead of time, even with a schedule, right? And unfortunately, they've only just recently started doing that with the latest patch, and that's in the news section here. So kudos to them for finally doing an updated note, but I don't think this is even the full updated note. They missed some bugs. Now, I don't want to blame Crunchyroll or Capcom because they're not the devs. The devs are the ones that are handling this, and we don't know the size of the dev team. It could be very small, right? But that's still no excuse for some of the bigger companies not to come out and put a spokesperson out and say, hey guys, this is what's happening, here's why. So kudos to them for at least bringing out some of the updated notes, but this needs to happen more often and more frequently. Also, a negativity, don't rely on your content creators to find these issues for you, because if you do, the community's up in arms and content creators may be putting you at risk in terms of your game survivability and also putting your reputation at risk. So the negativity around the bugs, the communication is massive. All right, but let's go back to the positives. What makes this game really unique and fun? The community. The community is incredible. Join Discord on the main Discord. It's linked in the description. It's an amazing community with a lot of people discussing team building, it's a great team building game. There's a lot a lot of the characters are actually very viable as a free-to-play account. You don't have to play with the units that are pay to win to be successful. A lot of the free-to-play units are very, very viable and will take you very far. Very easy to get. They are very generous and extremely generous with a lot of the resources they offer, and events allow you to actually get duplication of the units you want. So there's a lot of generosity from the devs in that regard, and I appreciate that. Once the guild aspect starts working, there is a lot of camaraderie because you get to do crusades, you get to do Shadowlands, and then now you get the guild effigy. So the systems are flushed out, right? They're really well done. PvP in this game is very pay to win. The only time they didn't do a pay-to-win event was the duel, but all whales don't even care about that because it's such minimal rewards. So the duels are there that puts you on an even playing ground with everybody else, and you can randomly choose teams and fight each other. So that was a cool mode for a lot of free-to-play folks to gain some gems and some more experience around the characters. One other thing I do enjoy as well too that a lot of games don't do is they give you a trial section to test your characters out. So if you get a character, you can actually trial them fully maxed out with gear. For example, here, if I go here and I check out my Bison, right, you can see he's got the full gear. He's got plus 30, well, plus 1s, so not tier 2, but tier 1, still good enough. Plus 30, he goes to plus 40 with Master. His skills are all available to you. His bonds are all maxed out. And then his garage is also fully maxed out, right? So these are things that are kind of cool to test. Like, then you can see if the unit is worth investing in. So overall, guys, there's a lot of positivities in this game. They've left a bad taste in our mouth with the pay-to-win aspect. It is very, and that's sorry, this is another negativity. It's very predatory. So in that regard, if you have the common sense or the lack the urges to spend when somebody pops up, an offer in your face, you'll do really well in this game. If you have a gambling addiction and you are very, very low, like if you lack the willpower to do this, you will be spending a ton of money because every few seconds there's a pop-up to buy something. And I really don't recommend it, guys, because you can put yourself in a lot of debt. This game does require quite a bit of money. Some people have spent up to $40,000 to $60,000 on this game just to get first place, and they're still stuck on finishing the actual stages. So that's also a negativity. But the positivity is it is also free-to-play friendly to an extent, guys. It really is. A lot of people will disagree with that because they feel like they're stuck and in 30 days they should be almost caught up to like stage 30. But no, it's 30 days, guys. You're not meant as an idle game to advance that far as a free-to-play player, but it doesn't mean you can't do a lot in the game as a free-to-play player. So I just want to point that out, guys. There's a lot that this game's offers. So for brand new players who have heard negative things about this, don't be afraid. Jump in, play the game, and enjoy. Just be an adult, or if you're not an adult, be someone who with some smarts. If you know you can't afford it, don't pay for it. The bugs will get fixed. They are currently being fixed, but there's a lot of events and content to do. So my recommendation is, yes, absolutely play the game, enjoy it, have fun with it, and we'll deal with the negativity as it comes, and we'll work on it as a community. Alright guys, this is Payne. I hope you enjoyed the video. That's just my honest thoughts on the last 30 days. I'll probably be doing these quite often just to give you my perspective on how the month is going. But so far, great job guys with the game, and I love the community. So let's keep it up. Have a good one.